Hi guys and girls, Friction RC here. Thought I'll do a quick vid. Happy New Year, etc, etc. Hope you guys had a wonderful time. I spent most of it just chillaxing with family and friends because thankfully in London, although they were planning a big lockdown, we were still able to see family and friends. So it wasn't too bad for us. I also spent time getting out my RC stuff that was been sitting in boxes in the loft for many months. So one of the ones I got was a WPL D12. A lot of you have probably seen these and maybe even got them. My original plan was to create something a little bit different from the norm, which I'm still going to do. I've got a different body shell on the way for that. When this came and I saw how good looking it was, it looks blue in the video, but it's actually more greenish than blue. I think it's the way it's got pigment and stuff like that in it, and I think it's the way the light shines off it, but it's actually green to the eye more than blue, and it looks really nice. The standard color I think is that kind of creamy color, whereas this actually looks not that doesn't look nice, but this looks nice. I was quite taken aback at how scale it is. My family's originally from Sri Lanka, and these things are 10 a penny over there. For everything, they use them for everything. They use it as vans to carry, obviously the van version of this, to carry kids to school, like private hire vans. So a bit like in America, you have the school bus, except that's paid, I guess, via the council. In Sri Lanka, a lot of them are private hire vans. So if there's a load of children living in certain areas that go to the same schools or similar schools along the way, you will pick them up and drop them off and all that. So the parents just have to pick them up sometimes, not even pick them up. The van will go and collect them and drive them around. So there's a lot of those kind of white vans, but also, as you see here, flatbeds used for carrying everything and anything and everything. Being a high ace, being a well, I guess they call it a super carry, or carry. They're quite tiny, so washing machines all the way through to coconut husks to everything. So I thought, well, instead of hacking into this shell, I'll keep this as the kind of thing that we're used to seeing. And I managed to get one of these metal cages off eBay. Brilliant, very easy to fix together. The only thing is, it didn't come with any screws to mount the horizontal poles together. So you have one long horizontal pole, and then you have 1, 2, 3 sections which are like hollow. So you put the long pole, the long shaft through it, and these sections act as dividers, as it were, to keep the actual rib, which is this, all together. They're different sizes. So these things are the same size, these lengths and these lengths, excuse me. But you have the two here and on the other side, which are a little bit longer, and obviously, as you can see, they've got nuts screwed to them. But these things, there's nothing there. So what I ended up doing was, excuse me. So what I ended up doing was getting some Tamiya putty and just covering the holes over, to try and hold these poles in place. Now, they don't move out too often, but the few times I've driven it with it indoors, I could see the shaft kind of sticking out a little bit, which means obviously if you roll it or go outdoors, it'll come out. So because I couldn't find any screws that fit that I had, I just put some Tamiya putty, and I'll just sand that down a bit, and just, this is going to be, although it's a nice looking truck, it will be used as one of those kind of, trucks back that you can probably get around the world that are kind of used and abused to carry stuff. And as you can see, I mean, this is a tea chest. It's a legitimate tea chest. Obviously, Sri Lanka known for its tea. I'm using it to just keep some spare receivers, but it came with actual tea leaves in it. There was a pack of these. It's aimed at the tourists, but we got given some from family members, and it's perfect. It works perfectly with this. So I thought, well, I'm going to use it. So yeah, the cage went on the back. The only problem was, I'm just very careful because I've never used Tamiya putty before, so I want to make sure I don't mess it up whilst it's still hardening. Was the original suspension, rear suspension, the leaf spring was quite supple, which is perfect for realism. But as soon as I put a metal, any sort of load into it, actually, whether it's that metal cage or anything else, it would rub against the tires. And I've seen people do a mod online. So basically what they do is, if you see the rear leaf springs, which are here, they've turned them inside out. So those springs would be on the inside, and this would, the metal, the silver coloured one would be the outside one. And also you've got like a little seat, as it were, and that would sit on the inside. So it's all been kind of reversed upwards. Now you get two of these metal leaves, as it were, and the one silver one which goes to the back. So all I did was rotate it around, and that's what the mod does. And because I've used both of those black metal ones, as you can see, it sits very high at the back. It's also a little bit stiff as well. The mod, if you only use one of those springs instead of two of those black springs, only one, and the silver one, it'll be a little bit lower. I just went the whole hog and I lifted it as much as I can. I've got some off-road tyres which are a little bit chunkier than this. And the next thing I'm going to do is do the front mod, as it were. And again, what people do is to lift the front end, they just heat this front A-arm out. So at the moment, as you can see, it's kind of bent. They heat it very gently so it straightens it out, and that lifts the front. I'll put a link. There's plenty of people who've done this mod online. I'll put a link on the description just to show how it is. But yeah, so now when I fit this, I'll wait till it dries. And when I fit it, even though it sags, it won't sag too much. It'll be quite good, which is ideally what I want. On a side note, if anyone knows what size figures I can put inside this, and also how, because it seems like the footwell isn't that deep, so would I need to cut the figure's legs off or something like that to stick one in? But yeah, so this is my latest toy, and I'm getting into the scale side of things now, which I really like. But yeah, it's Friction RC saying thank you for watching. Give me some comments and ideas about the figure that can fit inside this, and ciao for now.